Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And there were many different things that I could have done today's show on. And I thought about different things, but I wanted to go back to something that I think many of you are still concerned about. And I get why you would be. You are still sitting here and thinking to yourself, with all that we've done, is RFK Jr. going to be able to be confirmed? And I get it. It is a serious concern and a serious worry. Absolutely. And I think there is a way that we can talk to friends, family about this, people who may think this is a bad idea or something like that, people who might be fighting this, and have a good conversation about it. They might say, Larry, there are people I know who don't at all want Kennedy to do this. He's crazy, whatever. He's going to destroy the world, whatever. Yep, a lot of people think that. That's true. You're not wrong. That's true. But I want you to remember something. Consensus is not everybody saying yes. Consensus is nobody saying no. And what does that mean? I don't have to necessarily get everyone to go, yes, I want him there. What I have to make sure I do is get no one to go, I don't want him there. If they walk away, we're good. Do you see what I'm saying? If they want to fight on somebody else, we're also good. If they go, you know what, I don't care about RFK, but I'm going to go fight this other guy, this other gal. Again, still good. So we don't have to get everyone to say yes. We have to try to get as few people as possible to say no. Now, that doesn't just mean no out in front, like some guy or gal talking at a bus stop or, in a store. It means not literally writing letters, not going on TV shows, things of that sort too. And I go, Larry, you know what? When people think that, RFK Jr. is this or that, what I got to do is I got to show them that they're wrong. Yes and no. Let me give you the yes and no in this. While that's nice to do that. The goal of the attacks on Bobby Kennedy Jr. are not logical. They are emotional, which means you can't just immediately attack an emotional argument with a logical argument. That fails. The whole point of it is that people are saying, one-word story. You've heard me say this. It's the one-word story which dismisses the entire argument. So whatever you say is by default wrong or bad. Why? Because you're the one-word story. You're crazy or a lunatic or evil or bad. You are the one-word story, and therefore whatever you say is wrong. So it doesn't matter what the answer is. And that's the piece I want to bring up. Now, AB 24, the independent PAC that supports Bobby Kennedy Jr. I've been a member for a while, and they have brought up the idea of a playbook. And it's an interesting video. If you want to check it out, you can go to av24.org/playbook. And I'm going to show you a piece of it. It's a video they brought up, and I want you to look at it. It talks a little bit about this and then provides some very interesting ideas if you look at. Here is the piece here. And here is the video. I hope you can.
Powerful corporations and partners in the media have a playbook they use on you when you beat them too much, and in areas you can cost them real money. Pharma was apparently beyond reproach, and when Bobby questioned them, his adoring press turned faster than the weather in Texas.
What generally happens with people like me is when we're done with the trench warfare of campaigns, which is low paying and grueling work, big corporations hire people like me to come inside and implement the playbook And here's the way the playbook works.
Listen to this.
First, they attack you broadly and they question your facts. They say you're lying and it's ferocious. But if you keep on moving after that, they move on to character assassination.
Bingo.
They take on who you are as a person. They dig up everything bad in your past and leak it to the press. If you had a fender bender, you're a reckless driver. If you paid a bill late, you're a deadbeat, and so on.
Note what he said. If you do X, you are Y. If you do A, you are B. It's the one-word story
And so
that
on.
makes you
Every
bad.
part of your life goes under their microscope. They try to embarrass you. They try to make you say this fight isn't worth what it's costing me, and you quit. But if that doesn't stop you, and it stops most people, but it didn't
Yes, it
stop
does.
Bobby, they say you're a liar.
Yep.
If liar doesn't work, they say you're an anti-Semite and a racist.
Yep.
Crazy.
I tell you all the time, if it doesn't work, you're an ist or a phobe, right? Doesn't work, you're an ist or a phobe. I can't listen to you because you're an ist. I don't listen to him. If you get behind him, you're a phobe. That's how it works every time.
Or kook or crank or nut job or their
Or you're just crazy. Yes.
mainstays. That's their nuclear option. Because if they can get everyone to dismiss you as a wacko nut job, everything you say is suspect. And
Now, I want you to hear that piece loud and clear. If they can get you, people, to believe you are a nut job, if they can believe that you are crazy or whatever, they want you to be dismissed, then everything you say is suspect. Do you understand why I'm saying you can't just immediately go to facts? Because everything you're saying is suspect. We must first touch emotion, which I'm going to cover today very importantly before you go to facts. If you go to facts first, they will bounce off. Absolutely.
then they can get back to selling whatever thing it is you said might not be safe. And here's
Bingo.
the thing. It works. Like
Yes.
damn near 100% of the time it works.
Yes.
If all the publications and TV shows you trust tell you someone's a crazy person, they must be a crazy person, right?
Now, I want to be clear on this too. If all the people that you trust, that's the key. Let's keep this in mind. Dismissal and trust before we keep going on.
This is New York Magazine in 1995. This is New York Magazine in 2023. This is Vanity Fair in 2006. This is Vanity Fair in 2023. This is Rolling Stone in 1992. This is Rolling Stone in 2023. Standing up to them exacts a real cost, and that's why they do it.
I lost the relationships that I built over maybe 50 years of life. I had close friends who just told me they couldn't be my friend anymore.
Think about that. You lost friends.
So now that you know the playbook, you can recognize it and decide for yourself. Visit av24.org/playbook to learn more.
Now, why did I show you that? Because you're going to see when things get tough, this is what's going to happen. Not just with Bobby, but clearly with Bobby right now, right? Clearly right now, you're going to see that happening immediately, right off the bat. You can see that happening now, right? You're going to see that happening. That's okay though. When someone says this to you, whatever they say, Bob, why do you want RFK Jr. to be part of HHS? He's anti-vax, or he hates children, or whatever is the thing they're going to say, right? He's nuts, or he's going to kill kids, whatever they're going to say. What I do not want you to say is, no, he isn't. That's wrong. Let me send some information. They're not going to hear you. That is not the first thing to do. Something to remember always. The first step is emotion. It is emotion and then logic, right? Logic matters. Arguments matter. We want to give people arguments. Of course we do. But first, we have to get rid of or break this idea that everything's dismissed. Now, for some of you know my background, I was in the Marine Corps for many years. Part of the time I was in the Marine Corps, I was in intelligence. Part of the time there, we studied different things. And one of the things we studied, I've told the story before, some of you may remember the story, was it was a video that we saw that was talking about an Army officer who was captured during the Korean War. Now, the story was told in the 80s, but this person was captured in the 50s. He's retelling the story. And he says, hey, when I was captured, there was actually a Chinese interrogator who came in and interrogated me. And he was trying to tell me how awesome communism is and all these different things, and how great North Korea is and blah, blah, blah. Now, this Army officer, in this case, was a stereotypical West Point, Northeastern, New England, wealthy family Army officer. He was the stereotype you would have imagined in the 50s. That's what he was, wealthy family. So he tells the interrogator right to his face, they're all speaking English. He tells the interrogator, look, stop. You're never going to convince me that communism is good. When this war's over, I go back home to my wealthy family. I go back home to all my good things. You're not going to convince me communism is good. Capitalism is great for me. That's it. Well, the Chinese interrogator said, oh, no, I get that. I understand completely. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to get you to believe communism is great. My goal is just to make you believe that your way of life isn't perfect. That's it. If you think that, you'll have doubt. You'll leave Korea. That was his mindset. That's what the Chinese interrogator was trying to do. And they talked to us about that. The idea of don't try to get someone to agree with you right away. Just get them to think that maybe they're not perfect. Break this idea. You saw in that playbook video that AB24 put out, literally saying the goal is to dismiss everything the person says. It is a universal destroyer. A universal destroyer. And now I'm going to go even further to another side that I think you'll get. Some of you may know a personal hero of mine, a guy named Daryl Davis. Daryl Davis, who you don't know, he's actually a musician, believe it or not. And he's a black musician that originally was, I think, in Boston, Massachusetts, maybe. And he was trying to understand as he moved why people were racist. And he met Klan members who hated him because he was black. And instead of them being mad back or yelling at them or saying, what's going on or any of those things, what did he do? He talked to them. He just talked to them. Even though this person literally said he hated him because he's black. So he started having conversations. And what wound up happening is there were a couple of them who just went, well, I guess maybe you're one of the good ones. And when most people hear you're one of the good ones, whatever it is, whether it's a black person, a person of different religion, different gender, whatever, right? You're one of the good ones. Oh, that's horrible. That's racist. No, that is the first step to someone changing. Why? Because prior to that Klan member going, you're one of the good ones, prior to that, all black people were bad because they were black. Once you say you're one of the good ones, now things began to go, maybe they're not all bad. That's the first step. And before you know it, it changes. Well, Larry, how do you know that? Because Daryl Davis has over a dozen Klan members that he's turned. Literally guys who are wearing the hood. He keeps their hoods. I'm not making this up. Do your own homework if you want to. Daryl Davis is his name because he's turned them. It's taken him years, but he's okay doing that. Now, why would I bring up military intelligence and Daryl Davis and racism and communism in this case? Because the concepts are the same. When someone says all are bad or one person is completely bad, they're not going to hear you. And the data you give them is going to bounce off. It is simply not going to work at all. So now what do? Like when someone says RFK is a bad guy because X, Y, and Z. The first thing I want you to try to do, if you can, when someone says that, you just ask them a very important question, a simple question, and not aggressively, to see if they'll talk to you. And that is, great, okay, why do you say that? Not, why do you think that? That could be taken as an insult. Not, who told you that? That could be taken as an insult. Very straight, okay, why do you say that? And they will usually tell you why. They'll usually say, I saw a story, I saw this, or they might say something else. Everybody knows. They might say something like that. But either way, you would ask that question. Try to ask themselves, why did they say that? And they'll tell you whatever it is. They probably will. Once they say whatever they say, right? Well, I saw a story on so-and-so. My friend told me. Everybody saw it. I saw it on TV. Whatever they say. You go, okay, no, I get it. I get it. I've heard more. You're not the first person to tell me that. I get it. So let me ask you, what's the one thing you're really upset about? And they give you a specific thing. Well, because he's anti this, or he wants to ban fast food, or whatever is the thing they say. Oh, okay. Here's what to remember. Before you go to, well, here's the actual fact, man, you're wrong, which I know all of us want to run to right away. I get it. I want to run there too. Before you go there are two separate things you can consider. Number one, ask the person, again, if you're close enough to ask the question, why do you think your source would lie? Do you think they might? Why do you trust them? That's question number one, if you feel comfortable saying that. If you don't, no worries. The other way of doing it is now asking a larger question. They say something like, he wants to ban fast food. And you go, oh, you think it's good that we're all eating fast food? Something just like that. What does that do? It just casts out. They go, that's not what I was saying. Oh, okay, no. That's what it sounded like. I mean, I feel like you're supporting the fast food industry in this case. Am I missing it? Am I wrong here? Well, no. Now you can start doing details. Once you have broken that piece, that's all it is. Whether it's about big business, whether it's about what people are doing, any of those things, try to pick up one. I'm going to cover a couple of them in a second right now, right? I'm going to cover a couple of them. But the idea is first touch the emotion and then touch the logic. You have to crack the facade of perfection. You have to break the perfection. You have to break the one-word story right before you go into your data. Let me give you a great thing that also AV24 has put up, and this is av24.org/defend Bobby. And I will show you this one right now too, if I could. This one literally goes through all the myths and the things that have been talked about Bobby, and you can then use them as you see fit. Right here. Kennedy wants to ban junk food. See it right there. Now, if someone says to you, Kennedy wants to ban junk food, do not immediately go into literally the 5 things they give you here to say. Don't start there. The first thing to say is, you think it's good that so many Americans eat junk food? You think junk food's good for Americans? Start there. Just want to go, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and now you're good. The emotional aspect first. Do that first. Then when they go, well, no, I'm not saying that. Oh, okay. Well, look, right here. RFK says he has nothing against fast food. McDonald's should be cooked in beef tallow. And boom, there it is right there. There's the piece right there.
Trump was
right
cooking
there.
him at McDonald's the other day and giving people French fries. And people criticized me, and they said, well, he's out there giving fast food. And I said, I don't have anything against fast food. I'm against food that has seed oils. When I was a kid, McDonald's was made with tallow fat. That was good for you. And your body needs that. It makes you healthy. It's great. Why aren't we making it with tallow fat again? In England, McDonald's has a McDonald's French fry has 3 ingredients in it. It's like potato, sugar, and some, oil or tallow. Yeah, salt. Sorry. Potato, salt, and some tallow fat. In our country, it has 17 ingredients.
17 to 3.
Oh, and none of them are good for you.
Now, why in the world would I ask you to not just send them this? Because if you just send them this without first saying, why do you think that we should be eating fast food? No. They might actually pay attention to this. Now, does it mean all of a sudden they go, oh my God, now I've watched this. Now I love Bobby Kennedy Jr. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you just say that and they watch this, they go, that is my first step. Moving people is not winning an argument. I want to say this again. Moving people is, you don't do that by winning an argument with them. That's not how you do it. You do it by having them in their own head go, that's your first step. That right there was, maybe he's one of the good ones. That's what that could happen. And now they start thinking. If you were to send them this little piece, something like that, then the person starts thinking, maybe that's the right thing. Maybe it's not. And they may look up other things on their own. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. There's another one. Let me do another one if I could. One of the reasons why I asked you earlier, if you can ask them, what makes you say that? They may tell you the actual thing that they trust. And if we happen to have one, they may be another one, right?
And good food does not come from chemical agriculture.
Mm-hmm. This is
And
C-SPAN.
good health does not come in a syringe.
Another thing, you see it?
And we are a sick country today. When my uncle was president, 6% of American kids had chronic disease. Today, 60% do. And it's the biggest issue. It's $4.3 trillion, 5 times our defense budget.
Look at that.
We're spending 2 or 3 times per capita more than Europeans spend. And yet we have the worst health outcomes in the world. The more we spend on medicine, the unhealthier we get.
Look at that. Think about it. The more we spend on medicine, the unhealthier we get. Again, say the person doesn't like Fox News. Well, here's C-SPAN. Does this work better for the person? If the person leans right, they probably like Fox News. If the person doesn't, they may at least be neutral on C-SPAN. So now that you have a bunch of these, you can go down and look at these and start going, which ones work? But again, I cannot tell you how important this is. Icy gets it. She goes, things that make you go, Yes, you must first use emotion to open up their minds. Now, here's the easiest way to do it if you have no other way. If you have no other way, it's very simple. RFK Jr. wants to do this bad thing, and you don't want to, and then you don't have a specific thing you can say. You go, are you happy with the way things are now? Are you satisfied? If they go, yes, you're done, move on, next, have a nice day. They're happy, move on. I get it. But if they go, no, of course not, but that doesn't mean, oh, okay, but you're not happy. No, I'm not. You just broke the facade of perfection. You just opened them up just by asking, are you happy now? You happy with the past 10 years? Well, no, I'm not. Okay, great. Now we have something to talk about. There we go. Now we have something to talk about. Absolutely. So that's the piece I want you to start thinking about. First, open their mind, then show them the facts. It is emotion and then logic, ETL. Emotion, then logic. That's the most important piece. If you don't do that, they're not going to hear you. It doesn't matter what else you throw at them. It does not matter. Jones says, it's deeply appreciated that you can advise us on how to have conversations with oppositional points of view. Yes, this is the key to moving people, right? This is the key to moving people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joe says he's mad at Kim for some reason. He goes, I don't give a, if it's a bad thing, I give, if it's government force. Valid point. Valid point. So here's what I will often ask people who are upset about something. And they go, well, Larry, that's government doing stuff. And my point I will ask them is, I get it. In my perfect world, I agree with Joe 100%. I would love a world, love it, if it was a fully voluntary society. I would love that world. I think we should move closer and closer to that world. But that's perfection in a libertarian's mind. Now, some people want libertarians, not perfection. In the libertarian's mind, that's the perfect world, a completely voluntary society. Love the idea of it. Let's move towards it. I cannot, in good faith, I should not, if I want to be successful, measure anything against perfection. I will always lose. That thing will always lose. I have to measure it against status quo. That's how I have to measure it, against status quo. So if somebody was telling me, Larry, Bobby Kennedy's bad because, to Joe's point, it's government force, I would go, you're right. No disagreement. You're correct. Don't like it. Yes. So I have an option. Do I measure it against the perfect voluntary society that I'd love to have? Well, you're right. Bobby's a bad guy then. Clearly. Or do I measure it against status quo? That's the issue. And I'm going to measure it against status quo. Because sadly, this was a throwaway year for most libertarians. I get it. I hate it, but it's true. So what can I get? I get the best that I can get. Now, if I think that bad thing is worse than status quo, then I'm 100% on Joe's side. Don't do it. It's worse than status quo. It's government force and worse. Why would I do it? But if I'm going to get better or closer, I would consider it. That'd be my answer. Now, am I going to get Joe to all of a sudden go, I love RFK Jr. He's a libertarian. Like, no, I'm not going to get Joe to go there. That's not happening. I get it. Can I get someone who thinks like Joe to go, whatever, I'm not going to fight this. I'll fight some other battle. Yes, that's something that I could get. I could get Joe to go, this is a battle I'm not going to fight. I don't like it, but I'll fight some other battle. That I could do. That is a realistic goal. As I said earlier, consensus is not everybody saying yes. It's nobody saying no. Now, don't get me wrong. Joe may be like, nope, I'm fighting the whole way through. He might. Joe's pretty hardcore. He might. But maybe he'll go, you know what? I'm not worth fighting this one. I'll fight another one. I have other battles to fight. I'll change my mind. So, yes, there we go. So that is the piece that I'm bringing up, if that makes any sense. That would be my back and forth if I'm trying to move somebody towards something, right? I would try to do that if I could. So if I want to go, if I could, to another one. And the reason why I'm saying is there are many of them. Why this piece is so good, because it's not only just good for it's not only good for just Bobby Kennedy Jr. This can be good for anybody, a libertarian running, a Green Party running, anyone who has been given you're the thing, you're evil, you're mean, you're bad, the one-word story. Anyone who's given this concept is good. First emotion and then logic. Now, a bunch of things in this one with the banned junk foods piece was all about Bobby Kennedy Jr., but a couple of it was someone else talking, right? If you're talking to someone else, this may be even better. In this case, this is a Calamines one right here. There we go. Talking about the ingredients. US version, UK version. It's somebody else talking about what's in it and what's not. This right here might be enough for somebody, right? If you think someone enjoys memes versus conversation, right? You have to know the people to the best of your ability. This might also be helpful, right? This might also be helpful. Either way. But something like this will help you to have these conversations. Now, what if the person responds and goes, yeah, but this is not good because UK's bad for whatever reason, or UK still has bad stuff, or whatever they may say. Guess what? You're still winning. Why are you winning? Because you're having a conversation. You've broken it from, I can't talk because you're evil, you're bad, you're wrong, you're crazy, you're stupid, to, well, maybe let's have a conversation. And if you care enough, have the conversation. Have the conversation. You've probably heard me say this. I don't want to win arguments. I want to have lots of conversations. That's how you move somebody, by many conversations. That's the issue. Why I do this show almost every damn day? Because I'm having lots of conversations with lots of people because of it. And that's what's going to make things happen. This is the piece. This could work. This right here could work. Another one that could work. Absolutely, right? Whichever one. But I go to another one here. Here. Kennedy's plan would increase the cost of healthcare. Boom, another bunch of them. But if I just go, no, it won't, they go, yes, it will. He's crazy. Whatever you say is wrong. But if I go, wait a minute, do you think healthcare is working well now? Again, matching it to status quo, not perfection. They're going to go, yeah, but I think we should have whatever, Medicare for all, or whatever they believe is the right answer, right? Okay, so Medicare for all, that's fine if you want that. But then that doesn't mean that what Kennedy's saying is wrong. We could still talk about a solution, can't we? Well, yeah, we could. And then boom, here's another one. Oh, hold on.
Money
Sorry about that.
from, I mean, listen, there are tremendous forces that are making a lot of money from doing things that are making Americans sicker every day. Our food system is polluting us. Ultra processed food is the #1 killer in the world. Kills over 11 million people a year globally.
Now, you may or may not believe this guy, whatever you do. It doesn't matter. This is somebody else saying what RFK Jr. is saying. Again, this goes for anybody. You don't like RFK Jr., you like some party, he's a Green Party, Libertarian, same concept. Is this saying that we can't have Medicare for all? No. Is it saying we can't have a privatized system? No. It's saying any of that. None of it. It's just saying, look, this is bad now. What we have now isn't working. Can we have a conversation and make things better? Right here.
This is something that has to be addressed. And, Americans are paying for this over and over. They're paying for the support of commodity crops that are turned into processed food. They're paying for those foods with SNAP dollars, $125 billion a year for food stamps or SNAP.
Now think about that. You might say someone, hey, wait a minute. I don't want to get rid of SNAP. I don't want to get rid of food stamps. Okay. This guy's not saying get rid of them. He's saying, why are we using SNAP and food stamps people to buy terrible food? How do you know that? Look, if you know if you're paying attention, where some of the worst health outcomes we have in this entire country, they're with our poorest people who are on SNAP. That's true. We know this to be true. And we always go, well, it's because they don't have good health care. That's not always the reason. Most of them are on some form of Medicare, Medicaid. In New York, over half of New Yorkers are on some form of Medicare, Medicaid. They've got some kind of coverage. I'm not saying it's the best at all. I don't think it is the best at all. But what I am saying is they have bad food. Clearly. Right? Let's have that conversation. Right? Someone mentioned that if someone who's attacking you from the left, stay on the left. Don't go on the right. So attacking from the right, stay on the right. Don't go left. Right? So if someone says, whatever, Medicaid, Medicare is terrible, we got to cut it all down, and because they're more right-leaning, we got to get rid of all of it, right? Get rid of all of that stuff. You don't want to go, no, we should go Medicare for all. You can go, look, it doesn't matter if you get rid of it or not. Here's a problem. So I'm not going to the left with someone who's right. If I start fighting the person who's right going, get rid of all Medicare, Medicaid, and you go, well, what about, Medicare for all, you've lost the argument. They're accustomed to that. It's a back and forth, left and right, back and forth. You've already lost the argument. Stop talking. It's done. But it's fine. Whether you get rid of it or not, look at this. And the reverse, someone's more left-leaning. We want Medicare for all. Don't go, no, it's not going to work. It's communism. It's not going to work. They're not going to hear you. Go look, whether you Medicare or all, this is a problem. Look. And they go, oh, yeah, it is a problem. No, at no point did I tell the person they were wrong. At no point did I say their source was wrong. Their source was wrong. All I'm trying to do is connect wherever we connect, break the one-word story, whatever it is, whatever they say, and show them something to get them to start rethinking and to hope that all of a sudden they want to reach out and talk. The hope would be you send them one of the things on the av24.org site, one of the things, whichever one. There's 19 different myths from RFK Jr., 19 of them. You hear one, pick one thing that you think works, you're going to guess, send it, see what they say. If they engage, send another. Keep talking. Worst case scenario, we hope they just go, not a battle I want to fight. Right? Not a battle I want to fight. It's fine. I'll go fight someplace else. Not a place that I want to fight. So I think that's it. And Joe did it. Joe literally did it. He said, I'm not fighting this one. I'm out. Have a good night. I made my point, speaking into the void. There we go. He's not fighting. He's the guy who want to fight. He'll go someplace to fight. He'll fight another day, another battle. It's fine. I happen to know Joe. I love Joe. I don't want him being angry. I'm glad that he's, you know what? I'm not going to fight this one. Next. And that's fine too. He'll come back and yell at me about something else, whatever the case may be. It's fine. And that's okay. Remember, as I said before, I'll say again, consensus is not everyone saying yes. It's nobody saying no. That's the piece that matters. It's nobody saying no. People going, fine, it's not about, I'm ready to fight. Let's move on. Let's move on. It's not worth it. And that's why I wanted to show you what was going on here. Let me grab a couple of these comments if I could. Phil says, is RFK Jr. becoming a meme, positive or negative? I think what's happening is you're seeing, as I've been telling you about this, I've been telling you this for a month now. I've been saying that there's going to be horse trading back and forth. I've been saying that. I told you this is not going to be an easy thing. There's going to be a back and forth. The establishment is still strong in DC. It hasn't gone away. The establishment is still strong in the Republican Party. That hasn't just gone away. Again, don't get me wrong. Trump does have a lot of power. He has a mandate. He has more power than a lot of presidents before him. but it isn't universal. He can't just snap his fingers and make stuff happen. He's still fighting a battle against the establishment. It's still happening. So what you see happening is even some Democrats are like, you know what? It's fine. You've seen Bernie Sanders be more positive against RFK, towards RFK Jr. You've seen Cory Booker become more positive towards RFK Jr. Why? They're going to fight other battles. They're going to fight other battles. They're not going to fight the RFK Jr. battle. And that has to be our goal, right? They're going to go fight someplace else. A lot of people think that. And you look right now, even Pete Hegseth, which is different than it's obvious, but that's a big battle. And I told you all this. You guys didn't believe me. I said Gates was never Trump's big deal. He was okay with that, but he wants Hegseth, and he's fighting for Hegseth. And now even Joni Ernst is like, well, maybe. Why? She's deciding not worth fighting Trump on this one. She'll fight someplace else. And we have to be thinking that way when it comes to RFK Jr. Can we get people to go fight someplace else? Right? They're going to fight, not here. This is a battle not worth it. That's the piece that I think we should be talking about, if that makes any sense. I hope that's clear with what I'm trying to get out there, right? I hope that part is clear. Peace Logic in the house. You're talking about my man, RFK. Let's go. Yes, I am. Tonight is an RFK. I know I haven't done an RFK show in a while. Some other things have been popping up, but I thought this was interesting because specifically it is about RFK Jr. right now tonight, but this stuff works in any case for anyone who is attacking someone with a one-word story, right? If that's how someone's thinking, what can we do, right? That's it. Rick's, thank you for being a member, says Kennedy is a serial as in eating cereal killer. So yes, that's true. He is probably going to be that. That's true. So yes, absolutely. This piece though, again, these types of things are funny, right? These kinds of things are funny. So maybe he kind of is. So yes. All right. Let's see. Kim says RFK is not going to grow the government. The government we can all have government jobs. Oh, so we can all have government jobs. I don't think his goal is to grow. His goal was supposed to cut. That was his goal. And if I could grab one of those, if I could, there are so many of these things. I know I keep going back to it, but again, this right here is av24.org defend-Bobby. Or if you want to check the entire thing out, it's av24.org/playbook. That will get you into the world to look at it, to see it. And again, I want to be very clear. This is specifically for Bobby Kennedy Jr. This can be done for anyone who is actually doing, who's being attacked in a way from the media, who's being dismissed in the media. Giving it for anybody. So yes, if Kennedy has falsely linked antidepressants to mass shootings. Again, I don't want to tell someone's wrong. Instead go, well, I mean, you might say something like this. I mean, look, we've seen mass shootings, and a lot of these guys, they're on some form of drug, right? And they go, yeah, but does it mean that's the reason why? Oh, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we all see it, right? Well, yeah, we all see it. Great. Here's something that he said. And then boom, you play the thing that he said.
I'm not taking anybody's guns. Oh, there was a time in my life, my father was killed by a gun. My uncle was killed by a gun. I know other people whose lives have been, I saw what it did to my family. Mm-hmm. I've seen what it does to other people, but I also understand, I've spent years of my life in rural areas in this country, and I lived for 2 years in Alabama. I've lived in South Dakota. I grew up in Virginia. And I know that there's a gun culture in this country that sees that, that is an existential right for them. And that,
do you see it as a right? I mean, it is a right. It's in our bill.
Well, I believe in the Constitution, okay. and it's part of the Second Amendment. So, yeah. I think that we need to work with each other to understand why we're having the gun violence in this country that no other country has.
So do you believe, I think these are kind of separate. I mean, the law-abiding gun owner, they're not the ones, going out and shooting usually. It's the ones who aren't either taking care of them correctly in their home, or it's, criminal activity. But the idea of a gun is not to hunt. It is to protect against an out of control government.
Yeah. So, I think something happened because, when I was a kid, we had gun clubs in our schools.
I remember. Yep.
And people would bring their 22s to school, and leave them in the car. They'd bring them in, and, nobody was shooting at people. And something happened. There's never been a time in human history where individuals with guns were walking into crowds of strangers, crowds of children, and starting to butcher them. That's never happened.
No.
Suddenly that started happening around Columbine.
And this is the piece that he's been bringing up. And most people have been saying this. This is a big deal. So can't we have a conversation? Now, again, somebody might say, well, no, it's this or that. But if they respond to you, if you send them this and they respond to you and you go back and forth, you're winning. Let me repeat that. If they respond, you're winning. I'm asking you to consider, head over to av24.org, look at what they got there, find some things that make sense for you. If you're fighting with people online, friends, family, whatever the case may be, use emotion first, then consider sending them something like this. That's the piece that I'd like you to consider. So Lorenzo says, I remember Daryl Davis. Yes, he's still around. I actually, I met him 2 years ago at Freedom Fest, I think. Yeah, I think 2 years ago at Freedom Fest. Great guy, as nice as you can imagine. Yes, he actually did a couple presentations for us at Freedom Fest and actually played some music too. Did both. So yeah, it was great. I think it was 2 years ago at Freedom Fest. Great guy, still around, still doing stuff. Absolutely still doing stuff, 100%. So yeah. Frank says, are you kidding me? After I pointed out some matters of the Biden/Harris administration, I lost family members. Notwithstanding, we have Black, Hispanic, and gay family members, but I was called racist and homophobe. Yes, look, Frank, I'm not saying this is an easy task. It's not. You're right. But my point is, you pointed out some matters about the Biden-Harris administration. And if they've already decided that you are the ist or the phobe or whatever they've decided you are, they're not going to hear you. This is literally my point, right? So if I could say, well, Biden-Harris did X, now they're fighting because you're worried about logic. I'm saying focus first on emotion, then bring up an issue and try to have a conversation about that issue and don't necessarily win the argument. And this is the hardest thing. I got to be very forward with many of you. I suffer from this too. I know many of us do. We have a natural desire to be right and to be right now. So Frank, you and I are going to have an argument. I'm correct. And you need to acknowledge that I'm correct and do it now and tell the world. Well, yeah, I want to do that, but it doesn't mean that's going to help me and you get along or help you see what I want you to see. Doesn't mean that. I would rather say the thing, let you tell me I'm wrong, have a back and forth, and maybe reconnect next week and talk again. That's not easy to do, particularly if you insult me and call me a phobe or an ist. Now I'm extra mad at you, Frank, because you called me an ist or a phobe. Now I'm double mad at you. It's not easy. We can't all be Daryl Davis, who was literally insulted, called the N-word to his face, told he was a piece of garbage because he was Black, and he stood there and still talked. And then he came back later and talked again. And he sat with them and talked again. People who hated him because of his race. People who were actually ists, not just being called ists, who were actually ists, would announce that they were happy to be one. The real ones, Frank, not the ones that everyone calls. Real ones. Daryl Davis sat with real ists. So you're right. It's hard, particularly when they attack you. If the more it matters, the more we must try. The more we must go back and forth. The more we must try. Picking about thinking of being a member, she says, Larry is right. People don't often change their mind because of things they're told in one conversation. You have to plant seeds, let them grow. And I'll go the opposite way too, Pinkerbell. I have done this show for 5 years now, about 5 years. And I have found that not only have I changed people's minds, people have changed my mind. And I think the biggest one for me was, and this is years ago, but it's a big one for me, is understanding the difference between Democrats and the left. In my mind, I'd always thought they were the same. No difference. They're the same. Now, they're not, obviously, but I did not think that. And that took conversation to get me to see that, oh, there's a difference. And also conservatives and the right. I thought they were exactly the same. That's what I thought. And it took conversation for me to get, oh, there's okay, they're not the same. So I learned too, right? Hopefully they're going back and forth is my hope. So yes, that is my hope, that we can go back and forth and actually fix things. So yes. Joel says the secret to deal with any trusted source is not to trust any source except me, Joel. Except for me. No. What I think it actually is to trust specific sources for specific things. That's what I think. I think specific people or items or institutions tend to specialize in certain things that they really do know a lot about or have a specific thought process. I think that is you should be looking at specific sources for specific things, not one source for everything, right? That is my issue. That's how I see it. Peace Logic, thank you for being a member. I was a large fan and supporter of RFK. I also met him in person and talked with him. I did the video photography for him. I watched and listened to hundreds of hours of video. RFK is a good human being. I appreciate that. I've met him more than once too. Good guy. When he was running for president, I used to call him Mr. President. Then he didn't quit. So I don't call him that anymore, but I used to. So I thought it was kind of cool. But yes, and my point being, look, regardless of whether you like him or not, you should not believe, I hope you don't at least, the one-word story. I hope you don't believe the one-word story. You may think he's wrong on X or wrong on Y, right? You might mean you don't like this, you don't like that. Rick says he's mean to Monsanto and I love my Roundup. There we go. So maybe you don't like his Monsanto stance. All right. It doesn't mean he is the one-word story. It means maybe you think he has the wrong Monsanto stance. Okay. That is, again, that doesn't make him the one-word story. And the more you believe in the one-word story, the more none of this matters. And you will dismiss him. And by the way, that's the goal. The goal of the attack, as you saw in the initial video, was to get people to just say, I can't hear anything he says. I can't hear anything. Yeah. It's all garbage. He's just a bad guy. And look, I'll show you something that there are things that you can see here that are actually kind of coming from the left here too, right? This is Bernie Sanders.
A mantra that exists in this committee, I think on both sides of the aisle, is that an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be what we'll be discussing today. In America, it is no secret to anybody that we have a major obesity epidemic, as well as an epidemic in diabetes. They are both directly related, and they are both getting worse.
Here we go.
More than 35 million Americans have type 2 diabetes.
Look at that.
Over 10% of our population, 10% of our population, and about 90% of those with type 2 diabetes are obese.
Look at that.
Diabetes is not only a serious illness unto itself, but it is a contributing factor to heart disease, stroke, amputations, blindness, and kidney failure.
Now, why do I bring that? I bring that up because this is the kind of stuff where someone might actually start to pay attention. They might. Now, Shannon says, Larry, you act like these people actually listen. When you touch them emotionally, they do. Why do I mean that? Because everybody does. That's how it works. If you are touched emotionally, you listen. That's how people are. That's what works. That's how humans work, right? So, Cheyenne, you're right. If I just go, you're wrong. No, you're dumb. You're not listening to me. Doesn't matter what I say. I could be right. Doesn't matter. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter. But if I go, aren't we both human in some way? Don't we connect in some way? Do you really care about this? I do. Now you go, wait a minute. Now you say, listen, right? Jess says he does not want to ban it. Such bull. True, but don't tell someone who says that. That is my issue, Jess. Because if I've been told by my talking head, I believe Fox News or I believe MSNBC or whatever I believe, right? I believe Young Turks, whatever I believe. If they tell me he wants to ban it, well, then he wants to ban it. And not just that, he's crazy because they told me he's crazy. He's crazy, man. So, Jess, he's crazy and wants to ban it. Why would I listen to you? And you're going, no, he doesn't. Oh, you're just crazy too. You are now also dismissed. You are now guilty by association. So, oh, you believe him? You're crazy too. Now, whatever you say is now unimportant, doesn't matter. But if someone says he wants to ban fast food and you go, oh, is that what? You like fast food? You think people should eat more fast food? I don't want to eat more fast food. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he wants to give people a choice, right? So I'm saying what he wants to do, not what he does not want to do. This goes back to, some of you know that I've done some consulting for defense attorneys. And one of the things you find, if you're a good defense attorney at least, is that you can't just tell the jury that your guy didn't do it. It doesn't work. So if someone goes, Jess, you're a murderer. You can't go, I'm not a murderer. When you say, I'm not a murderer, everyone goes, oh my God, Jess is a murderer. Look at that. It doesn't work. You have to do one of three things as a general rule if you're a good defense attorney. Usually it's one of three things. One, I'm not a murderer. I'm something else. So yeah, I'm a bad guy and I rob people, but I don't kill people. Oh, Jess is a robber. She robs houses, but doesn't kill people. Yeah, okay. Well, then she didn't kill that guy. No, it's fine. So that's one option, right? She's a robber, right? I'm beating you up, Jess. Sorry. So Jess is a robber. She's not a murderer. She's a robber. Okay. So we're not going to give her a murder trial because of that. Or number two, somebody else was the murderer, not Jess. It wasn't Jess. It was Cheyenne. He did it. He's the murderer, right? Not Jess. It's Cheyenne. He's the murderer. That's option two. Or option three, there wasn't a murder. What do you mean? It's no murder. Never happened. Oh, one of those three, and you can win. I'm not a murderer. You going to jail, Jess. Just saying. Same thing in reality. He wants to ban all fast food. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. So you've got to say, what does he want to do? Or does somebody else want to ban fast food? Do you really want fast food? And then show them something like that thing we did from Fox News or C-SPAN or whatever you think the answer is. This is how you have conversations. Look, the reality of it is I've had so many conversations with people about things that people think are nuts. You guys know my policies. I wear my libertarian policies on my sleeve. And a lot of people think it's crazy. Nuts. Well, why do they still talk to me? I don't dismiss them. And I try to show you that I'm trying to still move forward, right? I'm trying to do that. That's the issue. So yes. Mad Nomad says, well, I'd never eat fast food again with tallow used. Talk about heart attack. Why he can't get up to speed on healthy oil, hoping his hired help knows. Well, to be forward, Matt, let's say he's wrong and tallow's bad. I don't actually know, but sake of argument, tallow's bad. Okay. Does that make him crazy? No. Does that make him crazy or wrong on everything else? No. Maybe he's wrong. I don't know if tallow's good or bad. I have no idea. For the sake of argument, it's bad because you say so. I'll trust you. So let's say tallow's bad. Fine. Okay. Does that mean everything else is wrong? And that is how I would come across to you. If you were to tell me he's crazy, tallow's bad, I'd say, okay, maybe it is bad. Does that mean that we don't have what Bernie just said? Massive diabetes problem? Massive obesity problem? Don't we have all these problems? And of course you go, yeah, great. So the current system isn't working. And maybe now I send you something else because the tallow one didn't work for you. You don't like it. Okay. How about this one with Bernie? How about this one with somebody else? Whatever I think is going to work with you. Hopefully, if I'm your friend and I know you, then I know which one is going to work for you. And I say, you know, one that makes sense. Maybe I say what Kim says. RFK wants to take toxins out of our food. He doesn't want to ban junk food. Look at the other ingredients countries ban from their food, and they're putting in our food. There we go. Maybe you say that, right? Maybe that is the answer that you use. So yes. P says, damn, we all want truth. What is the method only so many hours in a day. This is why, Peace, I like what's being done on av24.org. This is why I like it, because it's a one-stop shop for Bobby Kennedy Jr. But again, we all want truth, but we've been lied to and scammed and pushed agendas for so long, for so many years. Who do we trust? Who do we trust? Generally speaking, trust comes from being familiar with somebody, meeting them, talking to them, feeling they're on the same page, that kind of thing, right? Generally speaking. So the more that we have conversations and then send to someone else, oh, okay, maybe this is something real. Maybe this is something real that we can trust. I think that's the issue. The AC says, for-profit food, like profit healthcare, it's just perverse incentive. They say the cheapest they can. Shake my head. There's a piece, though, that if you see, right, that you see, and again, Bobby Kennedy does bring this up. His goal has been, and I agree with this goal. This is a good goal. The goal is to not subsidize the cheap, bad food to make it cheap, to get rid of the subsidies so that, and get two things, get rid of subsidies, number one, so that now we're not putting all our money into the cheap soy and cheap corn, which makes everything cheap and bad, and stop with local regulations that affect large corporations that help the monopolies out to allow more farm to table. Farm to table is one of the best ways of getting cheap, good food. One of the best ways, right? There's other ways, obviously. It's one of the best ways. How about that? We change that, you will see things begin to change, right? That piece is important. See if I grab a piece on that if I can. Hold on. I think there's actually a piece on this. All right. This one. Yes. There's one here. Stop subsidizing poison. Yeah, that's the point. Stop subsidizing poison. That's the issue. So yes, I mean, that piece I think is critical. Just that part's important. Phil says, argue with the right from the right and the left from the left. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that piece is critical. That piece is important, right? We do want to try to make people understand this. Lorenzo says, taking mental notes, throwing facts with emotions will trigger their cognitive bias alarms. Thank you, Lorenzo. And now they're not going to hear you. So here's the worst part. Now you're going to get crazy because, Lorenzo, you're going to give them some facts and they're going to ignore those facts. Now, I know what some of you are probably Ben Shapiro fans. And Ben Shapiro was famous for saying, facts don't care about your feelings. Well, that's insane, utterly wrong. It doesn't matter. If facts and feelings go one-on-one, feelings always win. Repeat that, always win. Facts have no chance against feelings. Feelings will change facts. Feelings will ignore facts. Things will make up facts. Feelings are 10 times more powerful than facts. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close. Feelings are superior in every single way. Now, you might say you can't avoid the consequences of facts. That's accurate. That is an accurate statement. The consequences are coming from the facts, but you can ignore the facts all day long. You just got to accept consequences. And they're going to hit you whether you like it or not, but you can just ignore them, make them up. People do it every day. Feelings are far more important than facts. It's not even close. So the next time someone says that facts don't care about feelings, they don't get it. They do not get it. Feelings are way more. Phil says, I was encouraged to hear RFK Jr. say a major concern of subsidies, not bans. Agreed. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. I think that's true. Yeah. IC says, shh, don't tell Larry. It's one of those days where I had ice cream for dinner, but it's Turkey Hill Naturals. The unnatural. It's fine, IC. You can have whatever you like. It's all good. I'm a libertarian. Clearly, I am keto biased, but I'm keto biased for me, for nobody else. Keto was wonderful for me. If you would like to be on keto, awesome. If you like not to be on keto, also awesome. Whatever you feel good, you do you. That's me. That's all I'm saying. So yes. All righty. Robert says, it's the contracts to food industry, corn syrup and seed oils. All Bobby has to do is show Americans the unneeded cheap chemicals that fill junk food is what the spiking heart disease comes from. This is another valid point too, right? And that point is There's also, I mean, it's called, is it called industrial food? I think that's what it's called. It's institutional food. That's what it's called, institutional food. I think that's the term. It's basically where large companies bring food in institutions. Schools are big, prisons also, right? And it's cheap food, mass-made food that goes into schools and places like schools and prisons and things like that, right? Well, you might go, well, is that a good or a bad thing? It's our children. It's our children. Isn't that kind of important? Wouldn't we rather have the best food going to our kids? Wouldn't we rather have that? Look, when they're adults, if they want to, decide to have ice cream for dinner, I see. They want to have, then they're adults. It's good. Go ahead, right? You're an adult. Do as you see fit. Don't have ice cream for dinner, though. But anyway, I'm just saying, you do whatever you want. It's totally fine. All I'm saying is kids institutionalized, by the way, government forcing our kids to go to school. So basically forcing our kids to eat that. Wouldn't you want the best? And that's a piece you could ask. He wants to end this and end that. Okay, wait a minute. Isn't he literally trying to make the food that the government basically forces our kids to eat, make it better? Yeah. The Lunatic Libertarian says, go check out the University of Wisconsin professor, Timothy, is it Paustian? Calls RFK Jr. a psychopath. I mean, there we go. Perfect one word. Can't listen to him, he's a psychopath. Can't listen to him? How can you listen to that guy? No way. Can't. Jess goes on and says, exactly, conversations. One of the reasons why I do this show so often is because I want to have more conversations. Jess, exactly right. More of them. Why I was out last weekend talking to people, right? 4 stops last weekend, out talking to people. Conversations. It's how it works. Kintsugi says, everyone's trying to win debates these days. Kintsugi, you are correct, 100%. And the reason why is, this goes back to kind of what the AC is talking about. He talks about, profit. Look, if I were to turn this page into a blood sport page, meaning I invite debate bros on and I yell at them, I would have a larger, faster growing show. And maybe it would actually be profitable. I stopped losing money on it. Maybe I would, but I don't want to have that show. But right, winning debates does get you. I mean, look at what Piers Morgan does now, right? Piers Morgan basically now has become a political nighttime Jerry Springer, right? Which again, not against, makes tons of money. People watch it. I watch it too. So I'm guilty, right? I'm not sitting. I'm just saying that's what he wants to do. He's happy with it. Good for him. I don't want to be that. Could I? Yes, because people are winning debates. If I do blood sport, people will watch. What if I try to bring on some people who think they're cool and I just yell at them and call them names? And other people go, I can beat up Larry Sharpe. They'll try to beat me up and we beat each other up all day. I will watch that. Tons of shows do that, right? Tons do that. But I'm trying to actually make some change. That's the issue. I'm trying to make some change if I can. So, yes. Anyway, maybe I'm fooling myself, but I think so. Mad Nomad says, I've tried all these tactics. Maybe I'm just not the right personality. I certainly have less friends now. Don't really care. Tired of people carrying on without actually educating themselves. Well, that's the issue, right? I don't assume that a person doesn't want to educate themselves. I'm sure some people don't. But I assume that they believe they have enough education for whatever they want. That's my assumption. I have enough. I watched this or that. I heard this or that. I took the A or B. I'm good. My hope is that sometimes they'll come back. And that has happened to me, where people walked away from me and then 6 months later, come back. A year later, come back and go, hey, Larry, you weren't a jerk to me. I was a jerk to you. You weren't a jerk to me. So let's have a conversation again. That has happened, right? And sometimes it's been a long time. So it could be a year sometimes they come back. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind. As I was saying, we all want to be right now. Here's the funny part. It's always better to be right later. That's when it's stronger, right? I do it with my kids whenever I can. I say what I want to say. I let it go. They do what they want. They make the mistake, which I knew they would because I made the same damn mistake when I was a kid. I tell them it's not going to work. I did the same thing and it ain't going to work. I know better, Dad. Okay, go. They will do it. And they come back later. You were right. Yep. Not because I'm smart, because I did the same dumb thing. That's why. Yeah, right? That's why. But what happens when that happens, when you're right later, it lands. Like it lands. They get it. They go, damn, he was right. I wanted him to be right, but he was right. And as long as I'm not a jerk, if I'm a jerk about it, going, yeah, Tinkerbell, I was right again. Yeah, see how dumb you are? Then you go, you know what? Let it go to hell. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. But if I'm like open and we can have a conversation, you go, you know what? You're right now. Okay, fine. Let's have a conversation. But I got to go back. Even though people can learn from conversations, so can you. So sometimes when I'm wrong, and you guys will see it here, right? If I'm wrong, I will go, you know what? I was wrong on that one. I'll have a conversation. I'll bring people on. I'll say how right they are. So I think if we can both go back and forth, that piece is very important. So yes, Pickleball goes on to say, I think it's more accurate to say that we agree on the problems, necessarily the causes and solutions. Yes. And sometimes you can even agree on causes and not solutions, or solutions and not causes. I think all three of those can be different, if that makes any sense. But the key, what we want to do is two things. Agree on the problem, but the next piece, though, is also, Pickleball, agree on the outcome. Right? What do we want? This piece is critical. What do we want? So I would hope at least people would say, well, don't we want healthy food for our children? I would hope we'd agree with that. If someone goes, no, to hell with our kids, we probably shouldn't be talking to them. But if we can say, no, we want healthy food for our kids. Or in the case of healthcare, we want quality healthcare for Americans. Okay, if we agree on that, now we start having conversations. How do we get there? Right? And again, I'm a libertarian. To the best of my ability, I want the freest market system I can get. I want the most voluntary market system I can get. But I'm also realistic. We're nowhere near that. That's not a thing right now, right? We're nowhere near that, except for the very wealthy, obviously. The very wealthy have that. Good for them, I guess. But besides the very wealthy, we don't have that. So then how do we get that? Now we're having conversations. But if I yell private only, people shut off because that's the solution. We don't agree on a solution. If I yell Medicare for all only, we start fighting. Everyone agrees with that. But if I say, how do we get there? And we have the conversation, we might find a common ground. We might find some. It's possible. So yes, any case. All righty. I do want to grab one of these. That Liberty Lady says, Sharpies, please tell me that you followed Larry on Rumble at Larry Sharp. Please help his channel over there, even if you watch someplace else. I do appreciate that piece, guys. And by the way, I know I haven't said it yet, and I need to. If you have not already, if you like what I'm talking about, click the button that we know. It spells L-I-K-E, like Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Yes, like. Click the button. It is important that you do so. Everything counts. If you are on Twitter or X, I should say, or Facebook, share this someplace. Share it into a Facebook group. Share it on X. Share it on YouTube. Share it wherever you want to. It doesn't matter. Share it. If you're on YouTube, share it someplace. Or subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Facebook. All matters. If you can do a super chat, always helps. Goes right to the front. Also membership. Key. Remember, guys, next Monday, I'm picking like tomorrow. It's getting close. Some of you haven't really jumped on board. If you want to come on the show on Monday, I am considering. Someone asked, I think it was Kim, I think, brought it up. Someone brought up the idea of turning the Monday member show, which means members will be guests on the show. Everyone can still watch, but members will be guests on the show, into a keto show. I'm open to the idea, but I got to see who wants to be on the show first. If people want to be on the show and they don't talk about keto, I'm not doing that. But if the people who want to be on the show want to talk about keto, then I'll turn that show next Monday, the 16th, into a keto show. I will do so. So we'll talk about it if they want it. But again, this is to reward members for being members. So you guys will decide, guys and gals. I use guys for both. I don't know if people get mad at me or not, but yeah. For what you want to do, I'm happy to turn into a keto show. I don't have to. I'm happy either way. So yes, guys, if you have it, no matter what, please do that. So yeah. All righty. Vivek says, Larry, my mom said that Big Pharma won't let RFK Jr. be confirmed as head of HHS. What do you think of that? I think they're going to fight. This goes back to my point. All right, Vivek, why does this matter? Does it actually matter with the individual, right? With the individual person? Not as much. But will they put pressure on their senator? Remember, the Senate was what matters. Will they put pressure on their senators? Obviously, people like Cory Booker are like, fine, it's not worth it. Maybe Cory Booker gets more money from someplace else. Remember, depends on where these guys get their money from. Are they getting their money heavily from Big Pharma? If they are, they're going to be all about it. Get rid of RFK Jr. You're right. If they're not, they may be like, I don't care. I get my money from military industrial complex. I get my money from, big ag. I get my money from whatever. I get my money from someplace else. I don't care about that. It's fine. They're gonna pick and choose. And next, as much as Big Pharma may not want it, these senators want to keep their jobs more than they want the money. They'll get the money from someplace else. They want to keep their jobs. If they know that fighting the RFK Jr. battle, they may lose their job, fine. They're not going to fight it. They'll fight someplace else. Again, this is my point, Vivek. The goal would be to get them to fight someplace else. Because they do want to stand strong. And, if you're a Democrat in the Senate, you got to fight Trump. You got to fight him somewhere. Okay, great. Don't fight him with Bobby. Fight him someplace else. Fight him on Hegseth, whatever. Fight him on Patel. Fight him someplace else. Don't fight him on Elon, whatever. Don't fight him on Bobby, right? That's the goal of people who want Bobby to get HHS. We have to push him off to fight someplace else. And that's the piece. So I think your mom has a valid concern. Big Pharma is not happy, but it doesn't mean they'll do that. But something else. Remember, if Bobby gets in, that's still the beginning. Still the beginning. Okay, gets in. Awesome. Now you need resources and other people around you to be successful. So could Pharma just try to, sandbag him? Yeah. Trump has been very clear what he expects. I'm assuming that will be true. What he expects is results, tangible results in 2 years. My gut, Vivek, says that the deep state, permanent Washington is going to go out of their way to sandbag everybody. That seems to make sense to me, to sandbag everybody. So yes. All righty. Midwest K mixes says the LNC has claimed that Robert Kennedy will be their libertarian in Trump's cabinet. Do you think Kennedy's on board from that? The empty promise from failed Angela McArdle. I have never said that RFK Jr. was libertarian. I've never said that. I've never said that once. I think he has libertarian views. Some of them he does, and many people do. I think he does have some libertarian views. I think that's accurate. I do not think he's never said he's libertarian. He came to us and did not say he was libertarian. He joined the Libertarian Party, that he did, and because he wanted our votes, which makes sense. Not mad at him for that. He wanted our votes. He became a lifetime member. That's true, 100%. Is he a libertarian candidate? I mean, if so, he would have been our nominee. So I don't think again, he has some libertarian views. That's true. And when he came and talked to us, he told us those libertarian views that he had. He does have some, but I do not think that he is libertarian. I don't believe that. I think he is the best that we can get for HHS. He's the best that we can get for disruptor. He is the best that we can get to attack permanent Washington. So yes, I'm happy about that, but I do not think he's libertarian. That's my view. I've never called him that. I've never said he was that. I've never claimed he was that. I never even backed him for Libertarian Party candidate. I never did. You never saw me say that. I never did. I said that he's the right guy for the right spot. I think he had the best chance of making impact, which he did. I think he had the best chance of shaking things up, which he did. I think it was the best chance to get 5%. He didn't finish, but I think if he had, he would have got 5%. So yeah, I think all those things. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So yeah. Kim goes on to say, something is causing the mental illness epidemic, the gender identity crisis, autism rate explosion, and more. It's not normal. Something has changed somewhere. RFK wants to find it. Kim, this is a beautiful statement you just said. Beautiful. Yes. Now, if someone goes, that's not true, they're not good faith. Move on. Move on. If they go, yeah, but it doesn't mean it's facts. You go, I'm not saying it is, but something. And right now, they're doing nothing about it. RFK Jr. is saying, we got to find an answer. You're mad at his answer? Awesome. At least now we can fight and figure out what it is. How about that? Can we do that? Well, right. They're not going to go, yeah, I love RFK. But now send them some facts. Because now, Kim, they're at least going to hear it. Now they're going to hear it. Yeah, let me hear what he has to say. Fine, whatever. I'll hear it. Whatever. They may even agree. They may fight you. And go, well, Kim, he said this, but what about that? You're winning, Kim. If they come back and go, what about this? What about that? You're winning. They're having the conversation. It might take a couple of weeks. And to be forward, to Frank's point, it may be very taxing on your nerves. It may be very challenging. And maybe you don't want to talk to them for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, while you calm yourself down, decompress, get away, and then come back. So yes, Kintsugi says, I definitely have a question about gun violence in schools, but I'll say it for next AMA. Please, I'm happy to walk down that road, Kintsugi. Happy to walk down that road with you. Absolutely. So yes. Juan says, I've sort of stumbled onto the realization last year. As a libertarian, people expect me to be combated, but my goal is always to start with agreement and gently push them in the right direction. Agreed. Yes, absolutely. Agreed. Jess says, I would feel so honored to call him Mr. President. Kinsugi says, I called him Mr. President and his wife First Lady Show. Yes. But whenever I would see him at an event, right, I'd shake his hand and go, Mr. President, how you doing? Every time. He always giggled every time. It was kind of funny. So, yeah. But no, Anyway, Midwest goes on to say, Kennedy should have stayed in the race and he should have been a libertarian nominee, but Chase did his best, didn't help the LNC fought with him. LNC could have helped out more. LNC couldn't help out more. They didn't have the cash. They couldn't have. And to be forward, no, people don't like this, but when you're running for office, don't expect the party to help. Didn't help me. Don't expect it. You gotta fight on your own. Would it have been better if Kennedy stayed in the race? It's a tough question, right? I mean, I'm really trying to look into my crystal ball with this one. I mean, I think he would have got 5%. I think that's true. If you wanted Kennedy to make impact directly in government this year, his move may have been better. If you wanted him to maybe be president in 4 years, maybe he should have stayed in, got the 5%, and built an army over the next 4 years. Maybe. It's a tough one to say, but I could see the argument either way. I could see it. I could see the argument either way. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it either way. So Rita says, hi, first time here. I almost met him in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. Gosh, stood in line for 2 hours to ask him questions. This was the craziest thing, is that whenever he was there, you would see people stand in line and get pictures with him all the time. Biggest piece. Another hour afterwards, all the time. Rita, you're right. All the time. I said all the time. Yes. Yaha says 75 Nobel Prize winners wrote a letter warning of RFK Jr. appointment. Yes, and this is what I want to bring up here. What you will see consistently, and this is the part that people don't see, is that Nobel Prize winners are by default the establishment. The American public, Yaha, is dismissing the public more and more. Is dismissing the establishment more and more. The American public does not trust the establishment. Does not trust institutions anymore. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying, yay, that is not a good thing. But our institutions have screwed us over for the past 20, 30 years, if not longer. Our education system, trash. Our medical system, trash. Our political system, trash. Our institutions have been screwing us for years. So when they go Nobel Prize winners, we go, psh, a bunch of, eggheads who part of the establishment who don't care about us anyway. That's how Americans think. I'm not making that up. There's data that shows that Americans think that. Over 50% of Americans don't trust your establishment. And that's poll after poll after poll. All of them keep saying it. And you see it everywhere. And Trump won a popular vote. And not just that. There are people, to your point, that 75 Nobel Prize winners are saying are a bad idea. And the American people go, whatevs, I don't care. Whatevs, I don't care. That's my point. You're saying, look at this. The establishment says it's wrong. And American people go, I don't care. Whatever. But wait a minute. If he comes into play, he might break everything down. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I don't care. And here is an example I will give you. This also comes, by the way, from the AV24 page, if I can find it here. Hold on. If I can find it here. This one is about Ozempic. Yeah. Ozempic's made by Denmark's largest company by market cap. And Kenny pointed out that Denmark's public health bodies recommend that obesity should be treated with diet and exercise, not Ozempic. So they make it in Denmark and then say that their people shouldn't eat it, take it, instead we should take it. That's what they say. Yes.
The mechanism for imposing that centralized control is Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
If you are diagnosed with diabetes, for example, the prescription, the clinical guideline says metformin and Ozempic. And that's all you're going to get. That's all they're going to pay for.
Think of that.
In Europe, they don't do that. They allow individual doctors to prescribe individualized care for patients. And most of that care, the guidelines that they hand out are not for drugs, but they're for changes in diet and exercise. And their national health ministries will pay for that. And Medicare in this country, Medicaid should be paying for gym memberships and for good food.
That is someone who's considered crazy, what he just said. That our system should pay for gym memberships and good food. He's the crazy one. The 75 Nobel laureates or whoever they said Medicare should pay for Ozempic and not that. This is why people don't hear it anymore, because of that stuff like this. This is the crazy person who says you should eat better food and exercise more and not just take a drug that from the country that makes the drug, they say their people can have it. We're going to make the drug and give it to somebody else, literally drug dealers. And now our government is paying the drug dealers. Do you not see why people don't trust them? Send that kind of thing, right? Send that. That piece is important. Lorenzo says, conservatives like to say facts don't care about feelings, as I mentioned, yep. However, considering someone's feelings can make it easier to be open to facts that could help them change. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Phil says, I've struggled with being overweight all my life. I grew up eating rice cakes and skim milk. I was suspicious about RFK, but a lot of what he says makes sense. Endocrine disruptors would make a lot of sense. There we go. And you know, Phil, let's say he's wrong. Let's say it's not the answer. Why is what he's saying crazy? That's my issue. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe he's right. Maybe endocrine disruptors are the critical. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know your situation, Phil. Maybe this affects you. Maybe it doesn't, right? Whatever. Sake of argument, he's wrong. That's not what affects you and it's not real. Okay. So he's crazy. No. Maybe someone else, it might be their issue and affects them. Or maybe it doesn't affect them, but it does affect you. Maybe this is your issue. This is the thing. Endocrine disruption is your thing. And for someone else, it's rice cakes and skim milk. Whatever. My point is, why does it make him crazy? Why do we have to ignore him? Why is he dangerous? And this is what you should be asking yourself. And this is what you should be asking your friends who are so anti-RFK. Show up this and say, why is this dangerous? Not why is he wrong? Maybe he's wrong. I actually don't know. But why is it dangerous? I'll tell you why it's dangerous. Because of all the money made on industrial food and all the money made on institutional food and all the money made on Medicare and Medicaid. Medicaid, Medicaid, and Medicare. Now, the AC brought up the idea of for-profit. Yes, he's correct. But where's the biggest money coming from? Government. That's where the biggest cash is coming from. Government. So whether you agree with this, it doesn't make him crazy. We should be thinking about this. That's the issue, right? Rita says, there are better ways to approach medical conditions. You need to meet people where they are at first. The collective is still lagging behind preventative modalities. There's no money in the prevention, Renita. This goes to my earlier piece. The money is on the comeback. The money's on the comeback. Shan says, why are you snitching on me? I know, I got to stop. I'm sorry. I'm in trouble. Stop. Sorry. Yeah. I got to stop that. Yeah. That's good. Yes. Kinsuki says, I thought tallow, butter, ghee were healthy fats. I thought so too. I've actually cooked with tallow in the past. And AC says tallow's great, grass-fed. I only use grass-fed tallow. I cook with either grass-fed butter or grass-fed tallow. I'm as I mentioned before, so you guys who know me, I'm not a guy who spends a lot of money on things like clothes and such, as you can see. I would say I don't have a fancy watch. I don't do that. It's not what I do. It's not my thing. When I spend my money, I spend it on the highest quality food I can buy. And I'm lucky. I live in New York City. There are a lot of places here where you can get very high quality food. It costs money, but that's fine. That's where I spend my money. I don't have a fancy car, right? I don't spend money on that. And no judgment on you. If you think a fancy car is more important than healthy food, good on you. No judgment. If you'd rather wear a flashy watch or cool shoes or whatever, good on you. Again, I'm libertarian. Do as you see fit. In my world, I'm going to spend my money on good quality food. I'm with you, AC. I cook with tallow and or grass-fed butter, and or olive oil. Depends on what I'm cooking. I will sometimes use olive oil sometimes, but usually it'll be butter or grass-fed tallow. I agree with you. And I eat grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I spend the money. I eat organic pasture raised eggs. I spend the cash. That's where I spend my money on. You don't see me in tailored suits. That's not where you don't see me in rings and jewelry. You don't see me spend money on that. That's not where I am. I don't have a fancy car. As I said, I don't spend money on that stuff. I spend money on my food. That's what I think matters to me. It's why I can look so damn good. And I'm old because of that. That's my view. Again, you do as you see fit. No judgment on you. That's what I do. Andrew says all butter bad. It's very good. I like that. That's very good. I do like that. Yes. All righty. See if I go down a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Kim says, I get too frustrated with people who trust and believe what the mainstream feeds them. The problem is those people vote, Kim. Those people reach out to senators and scare them. Those people donate, scare them. Yeah. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. They do. Lemon Bomb says, unfortunately, we have been lied to for years about saturated and unsaturated fats. Yes. The fact is saturated fats are stable and do not cause inflammation like unsaturated fats do, which are unstable. The problem is we've been lied to with the food pyramid for years. The basic idea, right? For so many people, the answer was eat more bread, right? My leg's broken, eat more bread. I'm overweight, eat more bread. I'm too skinny, eat more bread. That probably would actually work for too skinny. Anyway, but whatever your problem was, I got cancer, eat more bread. I got whatever, eat more bread. Eat more grains was the answer for every question. Clearly that can't be right? Maybe if you're underweight, that might be right for that one. But for the other things, clearly it can't be right for everything. So yes. P says we only need a formula to find truth. Good logical reading skills. This is to be taught early in school. I am going to do a show coming up here on the education system and why it's broken because of federal guidelines. Federal money and federal guideline are the reasons why that does not happen, Peace. Our schools are broken directly because of federal guidelines. Now, some of you are like, what? That's crazy. No, directly because of it. And I will prove it to you. I will bring you receipts and show you what I mean by that. That's why. That's the reason why. If you look at how we were taught, what we thought, what was happening in schools prior to 1980s, everything changed. What changed in the 1980s? The Federal Department of Education. That's what changed. And by the 90s, it was all downhill. By the 90s, it was all downhill. 1980s started. By the 90s, it was all downhill. And by any way you would measure it, whether that's graduation rate, reading skills, you pick the thing, downhill. In every way, downhill. So, yeah. You thought, wait a minute, Larry's libertarian, he'd bring the government? Kind of, yeah. Kind of, yeah. Absolutely. 100%. That's true. Yes. Kintsugi says, I have to go back to keto/carnivore. I fell all the way off. Look, to be forward, we all fall off, right? We all do, right? It's how it works. We all change. The reality of what life is, and this is going to be a little bit, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Let me just say it. Life is two things if you really get what life is about. Two things. Habits and odds. What do I mean by that? If you have better habits, you increase the odds of success in whatever you're trying to achieve. If you have worse habits, you decrease the odds of having success in whatever you want. Does that mean if you have good habits, you will have success? No, you still might not, but the odds are higher. You still might be screwed. Life might still screw you over. Bad things happen to good people. You never know, but you increase the odds. If you have bad habits, I mean, you'll fail. No, you might get lucky. People get lucky born lucky breaks does happen. You never know. But the reality of it is, the better habits you have, the higher chance of success in whatever you're trying to achieve. That's the issue. That's the truth. So, Kintsugi, if you want to get back on keto carnivore, start changing habits. If you start changing your habits, you are your habits. Well, I'm not that. No. All of us are our habits. If our habits are us being lazy, then we are lazy. If our habits are us being disciplined, then we are disciplined. If our habits are us being strong, then we are strong. If it's our habits are us being weak, then we are weak. Doesn't matter. And how do you designate what's strong and weak, whatever? You decide. If you think you are too weak, then you're too weak. If you think you're not strong, you're too strong, you're too strong. If you think you're not stubborn, whatever. You decide who you are. But either way, your habits are who you are. So change your habits. That changes who you are. And then that changes your odds. Your odds will go up or go down. That's how that works. So Andrea goes, wouldn't we want good food in hospitals to our troops? Yes, thank you. Institutional. Andrea, yes, it's not just schools. You're right. It's troops, it's hospitals. Yes, all those things. Hospital food is some of the worst food. Yes. I see like Larry's coming. Well, because you're always teasing me, I see. So now I'm coming after you. See that? It was teasing me. Take that. Absolutely. The AC says part of the problem is that the corn in the soil grows just about everywhere, even places where pretty much nothing else will grow, Yes, but that isn't the bigger issue. The bigger issue is the government subsidizes the bad food. That's the bigger issue, right? And we have a situation now. I know some people like Monsanto. I'm not a huge Monsanto fan, but in certain places, the way the system works, for you to actually be successful as a small farm, you kind of have to be a Monsanto farm, or you can't make any money. It's terrible. So yes, Bro Talker says, but you can't win a debate. I'm not sure. You're saying I can't win a debate? I'm not sure. I'm kidding. Bring me on. Brotocracy, if you want to come on, you can. I'm not joking. All you have to do is become a member on YouTube, and you'll see a spot right there. Let me know you want to come on. Happy to have you on. Happy. Now, if people want me to debate, I don't mind doing debates if people want me to debate. Just realize you're not going to win. Just saying. But you can come on if you want to. If you want to do it, up to you. It's not what I love doing, but if people want to see it, it's fine. As long as you're okay with it. Just you're okay with it. But you're not going to win. Come on now, brother. Come on now. Come on now. But you try if you want to. I don't mind. So, yes. Jess says, I was just thinking about him. He always has the yellers on. Yes. And the viewers thrive on it. Then they all get mad at him for hosting. Yes. Kintu says, I love Piers Morgan. Lol. But I want you to keep doing your thing. I'm not mad at Piers, Kintu. I'm with you. I watch the show too. I'm guilty. Like I used to watch Jerry Springer too. So I'm guilty on watching all the things. I'm literally saying they work. People want to see them. There's money in it. Yes. I just don't want to do that. But yes, I watch it too, Kintu. I'm with you. Like, yes, it does work. I'm just saying I don't want to do that. That's all I'm saying. So yes. Dow says, I've just talked with a small group last week and brought up RFK Jr. One person said she was so excited for him to get an HSS and make changes. The person referenced his conspiracies. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Vivek says, Piers Morgan is bad most of the time, but the Scott Horton versus Wesley Clark was a great debate to watch. Yes. And be forward. I know Scott. I got some of his signed books. I think he's a great guy. Smart as can be. I know people think he's crazy. He is not crazy. He's brilliant. Well, he might be crazy too, but he's brilliant, whether he's crazy or not. Scott Horton is brilliant, no question. But Wesley Clark is no chump. Wesley Clark knows a lot about stuff too. So I haven't seen the debate. I can imagine it's good. I met Wesley Clark. He's a general, if those don't know. Army? Yeah, Army general. I think. Yeah. Was he a general in Yugoslavian war? I think that's right. I think it was in Yugoslavia in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. He actually had a chance to become president or vice presidential nominee at one point. So he's a heavy hitter. So that's probably going to be a good debate. I'm with you. Wesley Clark is no slouch. He's very much establishment, though. I mean, I'm sure he was establishment. That's what Vivek, I'm sure he was. Wesley Clark is very much establishment. And Scott Horton is very much not establishment. So I'm sure that was good. I have to watch that. So yes. I have to go on that. So yes. All right. Let me see what I've got here. Liberty Lady says, hold on. I have two. I got Rumble rants. I'm sorry, I didn't see them. Thank you. I must have missed them. I'm sorry. Let me grab Straight End says, Kenny doesn't want to destroy food and pharma stock. He thinks food and pharma stock should go up at the same rate as health. Oh, got it. Yes, that's correct, Straight End. Yeah, see, that's the point, right? If you just don't support, if the government doesn't support them, then we can support them as we see fit. Absolutely correct. Yes. 100% correct. I do agree with that completely. Yes. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. If I grab more of these, was that all I had? That's what I had right there. Okay. So thank you for that. I did not see that, Liberty Lady. Thank you so much. So, all righty. Let me grab down here if I could. All righty. Joel says, I like Rumble better, but I like the comments here on YT. There's more people here on YouTube at the moment. That's the reason why, right? That's the issue. There are so many people who are doing that. Kintsugi says, keto show, yes. Well, that's the question. Did we want to do it? Did we want to do a keto show with the members or me or not? I'm actually open to either of those. Just depends on who wants to come on the show. So yes. Pinkmore says, I just started keto a few weeks ago. Fell off hard when Christmas baking started, but I'm trying. I'm going to give you something you can do, Pinkerbell. Now, you may think it's funny, but I'm serious when I say this. My daughter, who's 20, is also on keto too. We're both on keto. My daughter cooks a full keto, and I mean a full keto Thanksgiving and a full keto Christmas dinner. You can do it. It's challenging, but you can do it. You absolutely can. It can be done. I think I mentioned before, you do like the potatoes are actually like cauliflower, and like you can keep, I'm talking cranberry sauce, potatoes, gravy, green beans, apple pie. I'm not joking. You can do it all keto. The apple pie is actually zucchini with flavoring. So yes, you can do it. You can do it. If you want to, you can do it. So yes, I had done so. Gene says, does being a member require a monthly fee? Yes, the monthly fee is $4.99. Unless we get lucky sometimes and Garrett shows up and starts throwing out freebies. So Garrett does show up sometimes, throw out a bunch of freebies. When Garrett does, yeah, that's how it works. Kintsugi says, Pinkerbell, yes, I fell off keto so many times. Holidays are rough. I'm going to give you this, and this is for the keto show, but I will bring this up real fast. When it comes to keto, any diet or any lifestyle, if you're going to go off, here's the key piece. You don't want to lose control. That's the number one issue. Your brain is what matters here. Habits, habits, habits. So Kintsugi and Pinkerbell, if you're going to say to yourself, look, I want to be in a keto lifestyle, but I'm being realistic. I'm not going to be able to do it during my time, Christmas with my friends. I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't do it. Right? Okay. You give yourself a specific time. I'm making this time up. You decide what time it is. From noon on Christmas Day until noon, December 26th, I can eat whatever I want. But prior to noon, Christmas Day, I'm keto. At noon, I eat whatever I want. And then at noon, day after, I'm back on keto. Now you might go, what difference does that make? You're in control. That's the difference. You're in control. And even if you want to in the future, look and say, hey, when, I'm going to go back off, whatever, during Valentine's Day, whatever. Valentine's Day, I'm also going to go off and do what I want. And that's going to be at 6 p.m. until 9 p.m., whatever. The dates and the times don't matter. But the fact is, you made them and you stuck to them. And you decided in advance. You said, I know I don't want to be stuck on this on Christmas. Here is my time from X to Y. And you must tell others. I'm not joking. You must tell others. Like if you go to someone's house, tell them, hey, I'm doing keto, but I've decided from midnight to so-and-so, whatever your time is, that I'm going to be good. You go, okay. If anybody goes, come on, Justin, they are not good for you. They're not good for you. I'm not joking. That person is a bad influence on you. That person like, no, you said noon. That's what you said. They should be like that. That person cares about you and your health. Right? The other person's selfish. The person who's like, come on, that person is selfish. And you should tell them that to their face. I'm not joking. Tell them that to your face. Why are you being like that? I'm trying to stay on keto. I care about my health. Why would you be so selfish? They'll say that, then they'll shut up. And if they don't shut up and keep being a jerk, you don't need them in your life anyway. I'm not joking. Remove that person from your life. I don't care if it's your mother. I don't care. You don't need that person in your life. You need people who are going to support you. I'm serious. What they should do is go, you know what, you're right, Kintsugi. I shouldn't have said that. My mistake. You do you. You got your 12 to 12. I'm going to shut up. That's what they should do. And you go, okay, good. Bygones are bygones. But if they push you, they're not good for you. I don't mean to be a jerk. Just mean to. And literally on target, on time. Here comes Garrett. Garrett, thank you so much, my friend. 20 memberships. You want a membership, Gene? There we go. They're all there. Garrett comes on time. You almost come on time, brother. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes. Peace, eyes. Thank you for the $2. The new Jerry Springer. Yes, I think he is. I mean, do you watch his show? He's a new Jerry Springer. Again, no shade. I watch it too. No shade. I'm just saying that. Yes. No shade whatsoever. Just saying that. Yeah. All righty. Texas Spy is throwing over on Rumble says, do you think Tulsi will actually be able to make any headway against the entire? Yes. Look, this is a good point. Texas Spy is throwing asks about Tulsi. I think Tulsi also has a good chance. Why? Because Trump is not giving up on them. That's the piece. I think Trump has a couple he really wants. A couple that he really wants, and he's going to try to fight for them. I think the odds are he's going to be able to get them. It's possible he won't, right? He might have to give somebody up for this or that. But Tulsi's super popular. You see the new thing, like 250 veterans said that she should be, doing what she's doing. She's very popular. You don't want to fight against that if you're a senator, right? You want to look, that's something you I don't want to fight that one. Let her go. We'll fight someplace else. So Texas Spy historian, I think she's going to make it. Right now, I think RFK's going to make it too. I think both are going to make it. I think both are going to make it as of now. I think both are going to make it. That is my gut. That's what I would say right now. I do think that does matter. I think they'll both make it. So I hope I answered your question at least. And thank you so much, Liberty Lady, for pushing that so I could see that. I appreciate that. Thank you for all your work. Rena says, I'm a holistic nutritionist and urban permaculturalist. I just don't know what that is. The mental health crisis is happening because of rotten enzymes that are developing from the crap food people and kids are eating. It's funny you say that. I have been worried about that. I have. And I do something nutty. I told you I care about my food. A lot. I do. A lot. And one of the things I do, this may make you happy, Renita, is I literally eat fermented foods every day. Usually the food I eat is sauerkraut. It's German to me, I guess. And I tend to eat different types of sauerkraut from different farms. You're like, Larry, that's insane. Yes, maybe, but I think gut health matters. I think, and that's why I care about it. Again, I told you, you don't see me with a fancy car. You don't see me with fancy jewelry. You don't see me with fancy clothes. It's not where I put my money. I put money into my food. I do. I put my money into my food. So a typical breakfast for me is going to be 3 pasture-raised eggs, about 1/3 of a pound to a 1/2 pound of grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and 2 different types of sauerkraut, often either beet sauerkraut, cabbage sauerkraut, kale sauerkraut, or red cabbage sauerkraut, or some combination of 2 of them, and mustard, cup of coffee. Yeah, that's my breakfast. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm with you, Rena. I'm with you. People think I'm crazy. I don't care. That's what I like. I'm not judging you. You guys eat how you want to eat. I'm just saying. So, yes. Pickleball says, I'd rather have peace than be viewed as right. Haha, but I've had a lot of practice flexing that particular muscle. It's funny. Was it Keanu Reeves? I think it was Keanu Reeves who said something like, years ago, I used to really fight people, but now he's like, whatevs. I don't care. Yeah. Whatever. He doesn't care anymore. Yes. Lunatic Libertarian says, United States population is lazy, ignorant, out of shape, mission complete. This lunatic has been something, by the way, thank you for being a member, has been something that a lot of people have been talking about. And usually stuff you say, people think that's nuts. That guy's no. A lot of people have been thinking about that. A lot have been thinking about that. The idea that we can't make our recruiting numbers anymore, that most of us are overweight. Yeah. People aren't paying attention. People aren't reading anymore. Yeah. You're right. It's a problem. And I would like the fact that we are not happy is the part that bothers me more than anything. We are not a happy company, right? Country. We are not a happy country. And I would like us to be a happy country, and we're not. And I think it's kind of what you're talking about. So yes. So anyway, let's go in here. Jess says, my older brother's company pays for gym memberships. Well, there is a thing, right? Insurance companies do try when they can to assist in getting people to be healthier, but they're not good at it, right? They're not good at it. I think they try, but they're just not good at it. I think that's the problem. That's the bigger issue, is that they're not good at it. So yes. Kim says, gut health is where good health and immune system begin. There we go. Yes. Jess says, Larry, do you just cook your eggs in the grease from your beef? It's like you read my mind, Jess. This is literally what I do. Yes, literally what I do. I cook the beef, barely cook it, just enough. Throw the eggs directly in, scramble them up in the pan of the. I usually cook the beef in the tallow. Then I take the eggs, throw it right on top. After I've cooked it, pull it out, scramble them up right there, barely cook them. I like my food barely cooked. I know it's crazy. I do. Pour it on top. It's a slop and slop. That on top, mustard, shovel it in. Cup of coffee. Yes, that's true. Riot, how are you? I'm glad you're here. I saw a news article that FDA wants to remove red food dye. They had for years to do this, and now they do. Shows RFK Jr. is already having impact. I'm glad you said that, because you are right. Already it's happening. Why would they do that? Why would they start that already? For the same concept that I talked about. Push him someplace else. Look, we're surrendering already. Don't come after us. We're surrendering, Bobby Kennedy Jr. Don't come after us. Go over those guys. Go beat those guys up. Leave us alone. That's why. And I think it's actually smart. Because I think, again, RFK wants to show success. If this is already done before he comes on, you can't count that as a success. So you got to go do something else. This is actually a brilliant move by them, Riot. You're right that he is seeing it, and there is a difference. I'm just saying it's a smart move, right? That's all I'm saying. It's a smart move. So yeah. All right. All righty. Kinsugi says, you're not my mama, Larry. Depends on the day. Depends on the day. So yes. Macy says, I used to always say it's a cheat day. Don't tell my wife. That's very good. I do like that. Yes. Angie says, I do the same on Christmas, but when you go off keto, you feel like S, so you can't really go back on. The longer you're on it, that's true, Angie, and you've been on it for a while. When you're new to keto, it doesn't feel as bad. It depends, right? Depends. But when you've been on, like, if I've been on it for almost 15 years, or 14 and a half years, when I go off, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yes. Yep. Gene says, what is wrong with Ozempic? My husband has Ozempic. He told me he hasn't started taking it yet. How concerned should I be? He's still essential to me, despite what our government thinks. Yes, there's a lot of problems with Ozempic, and it doesn't mean it won't work. But to be clear, look at all the side effects before you decide. Because once you're on Ozempic, from what I understand, you have to stay on it forever. And that may be okay. That may be okay. I'm just saying, understand that. Yes. Absolutely. Just understand that. Yeah. So, all righty. Kim says, fall off, discipline. Tomorrow's a new day. Get back on track. Yes. And what I would argue, Kim, is make a time that you're going to go back on. Don't just say tomorrow. The more specific the time is, the better. I'm going to start at 6 a.m. I'm going to start at noon. I'm going to start tonight at 10. I don't care what time you say, but I'm telling you, Kim, to add to this, I'm saying you're correct. And I'm going to add, put a specific time. This is when I start. This time. Okay, good. That's the time. I think that does matter. That little time does. Peace Logic says, what is Kayla? Oh, tallow, beef fat. Yes, it is. That's what it is. Yes, tallow is beef fat. Correct. Yes. And you can buy it. The problem with tallow is, before you guys, it's expensive, particularly grass-fed. It's expensive. I get why people put vegetable oil. It's cheap. I get it. Tallow's expensive, but it's better. And again, I keep telling you, I'm letting you know, just to be forward with you. If you want to eat well, and that's what he's trying to change, right? He's trying to make so it's not so easy. It's not so cheap to eat poorly, and that it's less expensive to eat well. That's what he's trying to achieve. And I think that would be better. If you know you could make the changes and it wouldn't break your bank, a lot more people would eat better. But when you have a difference of, I'm going to eat well or I'm going to pay my light bill, you're going to pay your light bill. I get it. We're humans. I understand that. I have decided in my life to sacrifice other things. And again, you do you. I've decided that I'm not going to buy other stuff. I'm going to spend my cash. And my diet is, so I don't eat that much. I eat 2 meals a day. But my diet is expensive. I'm telling you, it is. I'm not saying you should match me. All I'm saying is I have decided that I will not have other things. That's my decision. So yes, just says, dang Larry, lol. Okay, yes. I just think that's a better way of doing it, right? I think you have to deal with this. Garrett, thank you again, my friend. He did come in the clutch. That's for sure. Garrett did come in again, as always. He was paying attention. I appreciate that. Patty says, I love Tulsi back when in my Bernie days. I hope she and RFK get in. Me too, Patty. Me too. I think Bernie's coming along. Like, I think Bernie thought, this is my view on this, Patty. I think Bernie thought, all right, I did my bit. Democratic Party's going to get it. They're going to see it, and they're going to turn. And he was wrong. The Democratic Party has not turned at all. It went more to a level of establishment. Don't get me wrong. The Republican Party isn't all of a sudden not establishment. They are too, but they have come far more towards the Tulsis and RFK Juniors and Trumps than Democrats have. It's not even close. It's way more than that. So yeah, we'll see. Kim goes, Tulsi, RFK and Tulsi are a must. Agreed. Yeah, and I think it's gonna happen. I do think it's gonna happen. Yes. Yeah. All right. The AC says, if you repeatedly cook and cool potatoes, their carbs turn into resistant starch. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Huh. There we go. All righty. All righty. Let's say here. Gene says, I gave up alcohol about 40 years ago. Lately, I've been craving it. So I don't have it any in my house. I was able to resist the temptation. All right. You bring up a very good point, Gene. I do the same thing. There's no carbs in my house. So if I want to eat carbs, I got to leave my house and go out or order some. There's no carbs in my house. So I agree. I make it where it's very easy. Yes. Yes. 100%. Gene goes on to say, I heard that tallow was what kept many people alive during Great Depression. Yes, it does have a lot. It does have a lot of calories. It does. 100%. Yes. Kazui says smart goals. Yes, smart goals are good. I agree. There's no smart. That's absolutely true. Yes. 100%. Patty says to eat healthy is expensive. Yes, Patty, it is. I want to change that. It's not fair. It's not fair. You are 100%. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. It is not fair. It should not be so damn hard and so expensive to eat well. Yes. Stay healthy, Gal says keto is the best diet for dementia prevention. I've heard that, and also I heard for it was started because of seizures, to stop seizures. That's what it was started for. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. So, all right. Grass-fed ghee is awesome as well. Tastes amazing to me. I'm not a ghee fan, to be forward with you. I'm not, but some people are. I get it. All right. Went way off on that. I want to fall back, if I could, to what I thought was so valuable and so important about today. I know I went off. I always try to be good and give people as much back and forth as I can. Remember something. When people are getting upset and attacking anybody who is the crazy, odd, weird, whatever, the first thing you must do is not tell them that they're wrong. They will fight you back and they will not hear you. The first thing you do is ask them a question like, why would you say that? And have them have a conversation. Don't say they're wrong. Then get on their side somehow. If they're left, be more left. If they're right, be more right. Whatever the case may be. Talk about something large. What's the big thing? What's the big outcome you want? They go, Kennedy just thinks that, whatever. I don't know. Raw milk is is great, or whatever he did, whatever, right? Okay, you go, okay, so you don't want people drinking what they want to drink? Well, raw milk is bad. Okay, no, I get what you're saying. Look, all I'm saying is people should be able to drink what they want to drink. You don't drink raw milk. It's okay. You don't have to drink it. Okay, well, no, I don't like raw milk. No worries. Look, let me tell you, he doesn't want to ban your milk at all. Really? No, he just want to have more choice. Let me show you something. And then boom, I brought this up because literally that's one of the things that are on the site I told you about. av24.org/playbook. Here's right here.
Raw milk. RFK Jr. wants Americans to have the ability to buy unpasteurized milk. It's not a crazy proposal for him to put that on the table. Raw milk is legally available in many other nations, including England, New Zealand, France, Italy, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark.
There we go.
Of corruption that has been hidden under the mask of progressive values around conservation and climate management. And I'm really concerned, having seen some of the actions under this administration, how they have treated farmers around this country like criminals. We've seen more raids of small family farms, organic farms. I mean, this wasn't happening in the 90s.
Yep.
We've seen attacks on raw milk production.
Yep.
We've seen raids of Amish farms in this country. Yep. I've seen the words conservation and aquifers floated around, but when you actually look at the behaviors here in the state of California, we've been out of a drought for the last 3 years. Now would have been the time to invest. I have a full map of every farm in the state of California.
Here we go.
And how we should have been investing in those farms and restoring those aquifers. Instead, they're paying farmers to fallow their lands. They have a pilot program here to fallow their lands. And we know that California is a test bed for these policies. And if they work here, they spin them out into the rest of the country.
Bingo. That is what I'm talking about here, right? This idea, this is what you send them. Show them that, hey, look, do you care about small farms? A lot of small farms make money on raw milk. Well, no, but look, it's a choice. Look, let me show you this. And you send something. Now, look, I think Nicole Shanahan's amazing. That's my personal view. You may not like her or not. If you think someone would like Nicole, send that. If you think someone might like the other guy, send that. Whatever someone's going to get. And again, the hope is they respond. Well, no, but what about? You are winning. You are winning. That's what I want to see. That's what makes you win. Rena says, in Canada, they arrested anyone selling unpasteurized milk. Yes. Look, if you don't want to drink raw milk, don't drink raw milk. It's fine. Why are you stopping others? Dave says raw milk is available in a lot of states. It is. People like it. Let them have it. Why are you jumping on them? Leave them alone. Yes. Kim says in California, they raided people of their free-range chicken eggs. Yes. Yes. Joel says our government has been against small farms. They want large corporations easy to control. 100% yes. Right? These are the kind of things that a lot of people are going to agree with. Send them one of these from av24.org. Send it to them and then keep talking. And then keep talking. Sarah says, I've been working and listening to and able to comment, but it's a small farm. I will not let any agency on my farm without a warrant during this fake bird flu scamdemic. Great times, we're all in. Yep. Also, keto stopped aggressive cancer. This tracks for me. It's very healing. Yes, yes, and yes. So I know I talk a lot about this. The whole point was to get you guys to see there is something out here, but there's two things about this. Number one, this is great for RFK Jr., but remember, emotion and then logic, right? Emotion and then logic, number one. Number two, this concept works for anybody being attacked, not just Bobby Kennedy Jr. Obviously him now, but anybody. You're more green, you're more libertarian, you're more independent, you're more conservative, you're more far left. Doesn't matter. You're going to be called crazy because you're not mainstream. That's how it works. You're going to be called nuts, crazy, stupid, insert word here. You're going to be called that. Well, if you're going to be called that, this is how you counter it. Emotion and the logic. Send people stuff. Get them to go back and forth. You'll turn them in. The most important part about this, remember this saying, the most zealous are the converted. That means if someone is against you, if they turn, they're loyal. If they turn, they're loyal. That piece is important. Every time you find someone who is against you, it's an opportunity to create a zealot. Someone who will really be with you, 100% with you. It can happen. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more time. Click the button known as like. It does matter. I know I keep bugging you, but it is important. If you want to become a member, please do so. Garrett just threw a bunch out there. Grab those. I'm going to be picking the people for our show next Monday, tomorrow. So if you're interested, go on to YouTube, community tab. The community tab is where the picture is, the last one, and says, hey, I want you to come on board. Let me know if you want to come on board there. I will ask you to send me some stuff. If you send me some stuff, you can come on. I'm going to pick 3 people for next week. If those people like keto and talk about keto, we'll make it a keto show. If not, we'll do a regular show. I'll do a separate keto show. We don't have to make it a keto show, but I'm happy to make it if you guys want that. No worries whatsoever. So please check out the community tab on either Larry Sharpe or Sharpe Way. Either one doesn't matter. Either one of those YouTube pages, and we'll make that happen. And of course, when we're done here, please, when we're done and this is over, please take a few seconds to put a comment, because you know who likes that? Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore Rhythm. I will be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. yet again, and again on Saturday. I will see you all